Okay, étouffée or fricassé?
Fricassé.
Fricassé or boudin?
Fricassé.
Fricassé or chicken and sausage gumbo?
Welcome to Posture and Purpose, where both healing and community come together. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Let's get into this episode with Dr. Michelle Carr Frank.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Posture and Purpose. Today, as my guest, I have Mr. Chris Villemarette, who is a trial attorney here in Lafayette, Louisiana, but he is also the president of the Greater Southwest Louisiana Mardi Gras Association, because I guess you just needed another full-time job.
I sure did.
It sounds like
Yes.
it. So he's here to share a little bit about both of those roles here in Louisiana and, more importantly, Lafayette. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I have a couple of questions for you, and I'm just going to shoot them right at you. You got to tell me what your answer is real quick.
It's scary, but I'll do my best.
You can do it. Okay, étouffée or fricassé?
Fricassé.
Fricassé or boudin?
Fricassé.
Fricassé or chicken and sausage gumbo?
Gumbo.
Gumbo or boiled crawfish?
Boiled crawfish.
Boiled crawfish or fried alligator?
Oh, boiled crawfish.
Boiled crawfish or king cake?
If it's Keller's, king cake.
That was my next question. What is your favorite flavor?
The amaretto walnut king cake from Keller's, right up there with Poupart's traditional king cake with the cream in the middle.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well, you passed that test, so
Well,
see,
thank
you
you.
did a great job.
Thank you.
What is your favorite festival here in Lafayette? Is it international or festivals like Cadence Creole?
I like the Festival International because of it's set up downtown. You can meander around, listen to the various stages, the various different music. We have, it's very eclectic music. You got all the vendors coming from all over the world. I like it. I like Festival Acadien Creole, but I really, really like the Festival International.
Well, generally, if you're from Louisiana and Lafayette, you like any festival, basically.
That's right.
So, country Mardi Gras or city Mardi Gras?
The Courrier de Mardi Gras is fun. I took my daughter and a couple of her little friends from Ole Miss a few years ago. And when the young men, when they were chasing the chicken, the Capitan sets up and he threw the chicken in the air, and the boys come across in their costume. They come across the field chasing the chicken. These little girls started screaming, and my daughter said, Dad, this was like on Braveheart when Mel Gibson and the Scots were coming across the field to engage the British.
The Cajun version of Braveheart. I like that. I'm going to think about that every time now.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background, how you became an attorney, how you eventually became involved with the Mardi Gras Association here in Louisiana.
Well, I grew up in Marksville, Louisiana. Actually, not in town. I grew up in between the little village of Hesmer and the town of Marksville. I went to Marksville High School. And then from there, I went to Louisiana College in Pineville, and then went to law school in Mississippi, at Mississippi College. And I always wanted to be a lawyer because I saw, growing up, people that were taken advantage of by people with education, means, and I didn't like that. And this gave me an opportunity to fight for the little guy. And so I've been doing that for 31 years now.
31 years, so you must be pretty good at it, right?
Well, I do okay.
And what brought you to Lafayette? What was your first Lafayette experience like with Mardi Gras? How did that happen?
Okay. What brought me to Lafayette? I met a man named J. Simon. He was the lawyer in Louisiana. My grandfather, who lived in Marksville, who didn't speak English, didn't read and write, got his news from the French radio. Okay, so it's 75 miles from here. He knew who J. Simon was, if that tells you what the man's reputation was.
Yes.
So I had the great opportunity to go to work for Minas, and he taught me everything I know. So I moved down here in 1995 and worked for him. And Minas's wife, Jeannie, was involved in the crew of Victoria.
Woohoo!
And so, and so she got my wife into the crew of Victoria, which drug me in there too. And, they used and abused me.
You're a good sport.
Yeah, I've had to wear red tights. I've had to dress as a magi. I've had to do all kinds of things that Jeannie Seymour and Teresa Meza wanted me to do.
Well, you must have been good at it as well.
Yeah, we had fun.
That's what counts.
Yes. So that was our first experience. Was my wife's involvement in the crew of Victoria, and then we got our kids into the crew de Jeune Ami. So the kids participated in Mardi Gras, and they loved it. And we'd go to all the parades. I guess my wife's first real introduction to Mardi Gras was when we were in law school in Mississippi. My two best friends, Ryan Seal and Bob Wheat, lived in New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue.
Oh my!
And so we would have a good time in New Orleans. And so I convinced my girlfriend then to bring her sister. And I took the two girls down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and my wife she thought, this is silly, fighting for these little plastic beads.
Where was she from?
Baytown, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And she was a little sorority girl at Baylor, and my sister-in-law was a little sorority girl at Texas A&M.
Oh.
And so I have these two blondes with me, and they were, this is going to be boring. And the first parade that comes by, I think it was Toth, they lose their mind, and they're jumping and they were hooked immediately.
Yeah, there's a spirit about it. If you've never been to Mardi Gras, of course we invite you to come here to Lafayette to visit, but it is an experience.
And we have the best one.
Yes, we do.
Look, New Orleans is huge. It goes on for 2 weeks or more. Lafayette is so much more family friendly. It's more convenient. You can see catch all the beads you want to catch. Our food is better.
It is.
I hate to say it, but our food is better than New Orleans, per restaurant. If you want to compare, they have more numbers, but I think we have better quality.
Absolutely. That's what counts.
Yes.
And so what brought you on to leadership with the association here in Lafayette?
Well, I got involved in Greater Southwest to help with the parades, because Greater Southwest Mardi Gras, we're a completely volunteer organization. And we facilitate the parades. That's really our focus. We also facilitate the festival that goes on at Cajun Field. And that helps us raise money to put and to pay for next year's Mardi Gras. So I got involved 15, 18 years ago, something like that. And, helping at Pontiac Point, where they stage the floats, making sure the floats have fire extinguishers and that kind of thing, and making sure that everything is safe. The floats are hooked up properly to the trucks and whatever.
Things that we do not think about.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to get them unhooked, and sometimes it's harder than others, and so
I'm sure. So
I started doing that, and then I got appointed to the executive board, and I really didn't understand at the time what that meant, but you move up in position. So we have it broken down where we have a president. I'm the president this year. It's not really that stressful, but you have some person who's in charge of the parade chairman. That's a bear.
Oh.
This year it's William Kaufman. He's doing a fantastic job. But that is the hardest position in the board, because the parade is a big deal, big undertaking.
That's what I was going to ask. What makes it such a burden? Well,
you got to deal with all these people. When you're dealing with people, you're dealing with personalities.
You're dealing with problems.
Right. So You have to coordinate with the city. So you have public works, make sure the trees are trimmed, make sure everything is ready to go. You know, the barricades are ready, the portalets are ready, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Then you have to deal with the police department. And we have Sergeant Matt Benoit, who's our contact. He's an old hat at doing this. He knows what to do. He does a fantastic job, but you still have to run everything through him because they really provide the security for Mardi Gras. And that's another thing. This year is going to be really, really safe. The police department is going to have patrol units staged so that what happened in New Orleans won't happen here. And what happened, it wasn't for Mardi Gras, it was on New Year's Eve what happened in New Orleans.
Right.
So we got to deal with the sheriff's department. Then we got to deal with and coordinate with all of the 24 crews that we have.
I'm tired just listening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's a lot of work.
When do they set up? Where do they set up? Well, this one wants to set up here. This one doesn't want to set up here. All of those things we have to navigate.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But then we have one of our volunteers is going to be in charge of our advertising. You've seen our Facebook page, and we also have an internet website. We have one man that maintains that. We have 2 guys that deal with the festival itself, getting all the entertainment, and we're going to have some jam up entertainment this year.
Okay, who's going to be entertaining us this year?
Well, we got Wayne Toops is coming.
Okay.
And what's the boy's name? Foster, Landon Foster. He won American Idol. We got some good people. So the entertainment's going to be really good, but it takes 2 people to put on that festival. You got to do with parking.
That's a lot.
We have a contract with UL. UL is very helpful. But we set up, RV spots on the limited area we have in front of Cajun Field, and we put on the festival. We have to coordinate all that, all of the vendors there, and the carnival, people that put on the carnival itself. Then we have someone who's going to be in charge of the ball. The city ball is at Hyman Center, where all the crews, the royalty from all the crews can be presented if they wish. It's a lot.
Yeah, that is definitely another full-time job.
So the executive board is 12 different people, and some other people assist them.
I'm sure.
And look, we start working Ash Wednesday for next year.
Well, that was one of my questions. How soon do you have to get started to plan for the following year?
So we'll have a debriefing meeting shortly after Ash Wednesday to go over and discuss what issues, if any, we had that year. We've worked most everything out. We've been doing this for 90 years now, right. So we've kind of worked out everything. But, we've, I guess the worst thing we've ever had was, this year, the issue with the route change and all of the political fallout that came from that. So the route is going to be the same as it's been for the last 30 years.
Okay, that was my question. What was the main concern there?
Well, I'm going to be polite and say that the concern was that the changing of the route was going to leave people. It was going to change things, and people who traditionally for the last 30 years had set up and would always, this was our spot, and they would set up a tent and
traditional, yeah.
And it was going to move, and so some people who had planned on being at the same spot that they've been in the last 30 years were no longer going to be on the parade route. And so that upset some people. As Greater Southwest Mardi Gras, as a board, it didn't matter to us. We would have been able to run it on Jefferson Street. We tested that route by using the two largest floats that would ever be pulled in Lafayette. I mean, we pulled them down Jefferson Street with the barricades, and there was plenty of room.
Oh, okay.
But ultimately, they didn't want to go down that route. Want to maintain the existing route that passes in front of the federal courthouse and then turns onto Vermilion, and then comes where Vermilion and it turns on Vermilion and Johnston. So we're going to maintain that same route.
It will stay the same.
Yes.
That's definitely decided. And so being that all this goes into planning and organizing, it sounds like for a better part of a year.
Yes.
How is Lafayette's Mardi Gras different than, everyone's familiar with New Orleans, but how is it different from maybe Houma or Mobile or even Galveston? Do you know? Have you visited those cities?
Houma, I have visited all three. Houma, I can tell you, lacks any organization.
Oh.
We had a committee from Houma come visit us, I don't know, it's been a few years, because they want to create a board like we have. They want to create a Greater Southwest type board for Houma so that there's less confusion and more organization. The routes are not all the same. Which crew goes in order, who goes first, who goes second. There's a lot of grinding and mashing of teeth.
Really?
I understand. They have a great Mardi Gras, but I take it that there's a lot of hurt feelings and discontent with how
behind
it goes
the
on.
scenes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What about Mobile? They claim that their Mardi Gras is older, or the
is.
first one.
It is.
So that I wanted to clear that up. What year? Do you know the year that they started theirs?
Okay.
I won't hold you to it.
When did they set? So, I think it's how what you say. Did they celebrate Mardi Gras before New Orleans? Yes. Who had the first Mardi Gras parade? I doubt that. Mobile was an older settlement than New Orleans.
Right. So that's up for debate. It depends who celebrated first.
Right. I think Mobile celebrated, but really, the Mardi Gras that we know with the balls and the parades was started in New Orleans. Governor Vaudreuil, he was, it was Spanish, then French, and then Napoleon, right? So he was one of the French governors, and he's the one that brought the whole Mardi Gras ball and the ball gowns and the formality to it and the Mardi Gras parades and things that we know now.
Yes.
That's who did it.
Well, he was probably a good businessman as well.
Yes,
because he probably saw what could be and the possibilities, which here we are today.
Oh, yes. My gosh, it's so important to this economy, just in Lafayette.
Yeah.
You got to understand, you're talking about an economic impact that, according to the Daily Advertiser back in 2020, they did a study. The economic impact was a positive $150 million. So I don't know what that would be now. It would be more, certainly. You've got at least 3,000 riders for Mardi Gras. Bonaparte's 1,000. Just
Really?
Bonaparte's
Okay.
1,000. So 3,000 riders. So you think about it. So 3,000 riders. That means they got 3,000, costumes and beads. They're spending, $800-900 or more for their beads
Per person.
Then the pre-parade parties and all of the stuff that goes on.
All those people have to buy snacks. All those people have to get gas. All those people have to move about and run errands. That brings so much to our economy.
Right. Go to Mary Ellen's Tuck's place today. I went there yesterday at 4:30 and the line was out the door. He's loving it.
Yeah, that's great to hear, though. That's great for these businesses.
Yes. I think that's what the mayor considered when she talked about changing the route, was to run down Jefferson, because of the presence of all the restaurants and the bars along that route. It didn't work out, but I think that was the idea, was to bring the parade to those establishments.
I see. Okay. But they decided to stick with tradition.
Yes, that's fine.
And how has the association, since you've been involved, how have you seen it grow or change throughout recent years?
Well, we grow because, you serve until you're president. And so next year I have no role. I'm still going to be involved. I'm still going to help out. So we have a constant flow of new blood. And we've got a lot of young men behind me, younger than me, thank God, who are energetic and who love Mardi Gras and who are dedicated and who work hard.
You have to be, sure.
Yes, because they love it and they want to preserve this for their children and their families.
Right. That's what it's about, our culture and
Absolutely.
the history of our culture. And it's good to hear that there are people behind us that love it as much as we do. So how about, I know you're on the board, now you're current president. How does your role as an attorney, how has that affected your role? I'm sure it has been a blessing that you have that experience. But how does that translate into leading this association?
Well, as you might have figured out, I'm not scared to talk.
Right.
So when you're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of personalities, that's not the time to be bashful. Mm-hmm. And so that part of my training as a lawyer has helped me out navigating some of these issues and dealing with some of these characters that you run into. Mediating. I'm not good at mediating, but I've learned how to mediate.
Okay.
It's very helpful. But because you can't be scared to go ask the question. No. You can't be scared to go and ask this person, hey, I'm asking you to do something that might not be what you want to see done. You just got to ask. Mm-hmm. So that has benefited me.
And gently guide, or sometimes not gently.
Yes, yeah. I'm not good at the gentle part.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
But I'm learning.
What has been your proudest moment so far leading the association?
I tell you what. With all of the drama that came from the route change, and it put Greater Southwest Mardi Gras in a precarious position with the city council. It was an awesome feeling when we went to the city council meeting and we had that place packed to the ceiling.
People were very involved and interested.
People were very involved, and they were supportive of us. Of us. They were supportive of Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
They do not want the product that we have, the Mardi Gras parade that we have, the festival that we have, to change. Mm-hmm. They don't want it to get ruined. It's working. It's worked well for a long time without incident. Leave it alone.
Yeah, and they were passionate about it.
And they were passionate about it.
So, do you mind sharing a story about a certain Mardi Gras event that either captured your heart or captured the heart of Acadiana and you saw it really, make a change or made an imprint?
An event. Well, I'll tell you what. It's been 6-7 years ago. We had the worst cold, rainy day on Mardi Gras.
Okay.
I mean, there must have been 4 inches of water on Johnson Street where it turns onto South College. Okay. I don't know if you remember that. It was horrible.
I'm there whether it is or not, but.
And what was impressive to me was those guys on that float were out there in the weather, some had their rain gear on, some didn't, but they were throwing beads to whoever was out there. There weren't a few. But these guys, this was the crew of Gabriel, these guys were dedicated. I mean, they've committed to this, right, and they're going to see it through.
Right.
And they rolled that parade, the whole length of the parade, and it was something. I mean,
and they look forward to that all year. It's not just 2 weeks. We plan.
Mardi Gras is not a holiday. Mardi Gras is a season.
Right.
But those guys that year weren't upset that it was raining on their parade, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, these guys have the right attitude.
The right spirit.
Yeah.
That's a great story. And how does celebrating Lafayette's culture and traditions generally enrich people's lives here in Lafayette or in Louisiana, especially for those who may have not visited Lafayette before and we want them to come and join the fun?
Well, I mean, look, Louisiana, and this part of Louisiana especially, is so unique, right? Nowhere else in the United States will you see people gathered for a parade to catch beads and to make believe that these people on the floats are royalty.
Right.
Now, maybe some of them that are on the floats really believe that they're royalty, but
depends how much drinking maybe has taken place.
And that too. We really take the whole Mardi Gras, the concept of Fat Tuesday to heart, and we do it.
Yes.
And it just gives us a reason to throw another party.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique thing. Where else you go watch the parade? Okay, ready to go eat some ball crawfish, and then you go get some ball crawfish and come back for the next parade.
And such a family fun event as well.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about things that you may have to worry about in New Orleans.
No.
It is very family oriented here in Lafayette.
Yeah. And we have barricades. New Orleans doesn't have barricades.
Barricades for safety.
For most of the route, they don't have barricades.
Mm-hmm.
We have barricades, and that's important. I think changes it.
Certainly.
Yeah, and it's family friendly. You'll see, especially you go along the different parts of the route, but you'll see mom and dad and the kids in the little red wagon all up and down,
and making friends with the people they've never met before in their lives on either side of them.
Absolutely,
might make again great friends, and then
Sure.
you're on your way.
Yes.
Oh, what do y'all have over there to eat? Oh, we have some boudin. Y'all come get some of this. It's just
Right.
so family oriented, which
Yes,
I
it
love.
is.
I love
Yes,
to
I do
see
too.
that. So, and have you learned any leadership lessons? I mean, how can you learn a lesson at this point in life, right? You're a trial attorney, you've seen it all, you've done it all. Have you learned anything from this process?
Yes, you learn to delegate. You have to have some good people to delegate to.
Do you mean you're bossy? Yes.
Yes, my therapist tells me to admit things. No, yes, but I've got some really good guys that serve on the board with me, and I have learned to let them do their job because they'll do it and they'll do it well. I don't have to micromanage them.
All right, you can lean on them.
Yes.
Makes
And I do.
all the difference. Makes
And I do.
all the difference in the world. Well, I've been wanting to speak to you about your role. I don't know if that's the right word, or your history with chiropractic.
Well, I have a what would I call it? A connection to chiropractic by association. So I said earlier that I moved to Lafayette to go to work for a man named J. Seymour. And Minus was something, an exceptional human being, best lawyer I've ever seen, talked to, heard of. The guy was something. Well, one of the things that he was known for was getting the chiropractors licensed in Louisiana. So it was back in the early 60s, I believe, late 50s, early 60s. You could not practice chiropractic in Louisiana because you had to be licensed by the Louisiana Medical Board, and they just wouldn't license chiropractors. So Minus represented a chiropractor, and I'm trying to remember his name. He was from this area. Anyway, they sued the Louisiana Medical Board in federal court and asked for an injunction. An injunction is a legal request to stop someone or some entity from doing something. So the injunction sought to stop the medical board from denying chiropractors a license to practice chiropractic in Louisiana. Well, the injunction was granted, but it was never. They never went to court and ultimately resolved the issue. And so it stayed in force for 10 years or so. And by the time they went back to resolve the issue to determine if the medical board could license chiropractors, well, the chiropractors had already moved into Louisiana, developed a political base, and now they're licensed, and now we have chiropractors. So that was my experience with chiropractors. And as a lawyer, I have sent my clients to many different chiropractors here in Lafayette and elsewhere to treat them for the injuries in a car accident or other kinds of issues. And I've grown to understand and appreciate what they do. See, when I first started 30 years ago, chiropractors and physical therapy, two different things. Now, not so much. Now, physical therapists are doing adjustments, much like chiropractors do.
Right. The things that, I won't say any specific names, but things that they were saying we were kooks for.
Correct.
What changed there? All of a sudden they want to do manipulations.
Right. So, and look, I learned a lot from Minas. The man was a genius, and then when it came to physiology, he really knew his stuff. And he was a big fan of chiropractic because it actually, in a lot of instances, would fix the patient, fix the client. You know, you can give them, in certain conditions, you can give them medicine that just masks the symptom, but oftentimes the chiropractic actually treats the cause of the symptom.
Right.
Why is this muscle in spasm? Well, the muscle's in spasm because, it's been stretched and there's very small scar tissue that's built up when the muscle was stretched and it bled, and now it's not as pliable.
Listen to you.
Oh, I can talk about it. And so you get in there with and work on the muscle and press down on the muscle and break up that scar tissue, so now they're more flexible and they have more range of motion.
Yes.
Sound right?
A+.
Right.
So, did you have a story you wanted to share with me? I think there was a specific case where a chiropractor was either in court or there was a patient who was seen by a chiropractor. Would you mind sharing that story?
Sure. That was Minas. Minas had he loved the theatrics. Okay. So this was a case where the patient, the client, had fallen from an excavator, and he fell in a seated position. Mm-hmm. And it didn't take too long before the man lost all function below the waist. He was basically paralyzed. So he was first examined by Dr. John Jackson, who was the first recognized neurosurgeon in the state of Louisiana. He practiced in New Orleans, taught school at LSU Medical Center, taught school at Tulane Medical Center. He was the guy.
Knew his stuff.
Well, this man comes in, nothing below the waist, and Jackson, for whatever reason, didn't examine him, didn't have any x-rays, no MRI, they didn't have MRIs back then, but just looked at him and said that he had Charcot-Marie's tooth disease. Now, Charcot-Marie's tooth disease ain't got nothing to do with your teeth. Charcot-Marie's tooth disease is a wasting disease where the muscles waste away, and it's very common in this part of Louisiana. How he diagnosed this man with that disease by just looking at him, we don't know. So sends him home. Can't walk. Well, he comes to see Minas about the accident, and Minas is curious. Well, he didn't examine you. No. Well, Minas had a relationship with the people that operated, I think it's Parker School in Dallas.
Dallas, yep.
And so Minas arranged for this man to be sent to Parker, and he lived on campus of the school. And every day, the chiropractic students would manipulate this man, put him in traction, and in several months, it took several months, the guy was able to walk.
How wonderful.
Yep. And what happened when he fell, the disc was just emascerated. I mean, it just blew up. And a million little floater pieces in that. So the space looked good. If you looked at it on an x-ray, his spine looked fine, but you couldn't see, unless you cut him open.
The disc material.
The disc material is floating around and interfering with the nerves and everything else. So the chiropractic treatment he got released that, and the guy was able to walk. So Minus sues Dr. Jackson for not treating the guy in malpractice. And nobody knew that this man could walk. The staff at the office knew, Minus knew, but the man, not his mama, nobody knew he could walk.
No one on the opposing side.
Kept it quiet. So Minus, being Minus, he walks into the courtroom. He's got Gray's General Anatomy book. And
anyone in the medical field should know what that book is.
Right. And he don't have a pencil, he don't have a piece of paper, just Gray's General Anatomy. So he calls Dr. Jackson as his first witness. And the patient, the client's sitting there in a wheelchair with a blanket over his legs, right? So he puts Jackson on the stand, and we're going to talk about Charcot-Marie's tooth disease, and we're going to have a lengthy discussion about that disease. It can't get any better, right, doctor? No, it can't get any better. It only gets worse. It's a progressive disease. Yeah. So it goes on. It's monotonous, right? So they're about to break for lunch, and Minus said, no. Look, I just have one more question to ask the man. All right. Well, Jackson knew something was coming because he kept
Did you see the sweat?
Scooching down in his seat. So Minus directs the patient. He says, now, so Dr. Jackson, if you palpated, if you touched this man's legs, you could tell this jury if the disease process has remained the same or has progressed, right? And Jackson hesitantly says, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So the man, the client, reaches for the wheels on the wheelchair as though he's going to roll up to Dr. Jackson.
Enter theatrics.
And he stood up. Well, when he stood up, Jackson passed out and fell out of the witness chair down onto the floor.
Oh,
Minus turns and says, now that's a cross-examination.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, it is.
That was the end of that.
Wow. I hope some of my chiropractic friends are listening and that they can hear that story. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Because things have changed a lot. You know, we've kind of had to fight for our place, and not necessarily recognition, but our patients are the ones that really count. Mm-hmm. The people we can help, and those guys paved the way for me to be able to do what I love to do. So,
but it works. Chiropractic. Yes. I go to one. I used to go to one. My friend Bob Lejeune.
Oh, it was a good friend of mine as well.
Well, he was the only one big enough to put my hip back in place.
Hey, dynamite comes in small packages.
Oh, well, he was 330 pounds, and that
he
boy
was great.
And of course, he'd insult me all up until the time he would adjust me, tell me what a sissy I was for complaining. But he was a good friend, and so I believe in it.
Yes,
you know,
great
he would adjust my neck, and it would drain my sinuses.
Mm-hmm. So many people aren't aware of how we can help them, and it really makes a difference when someone from the outside, as yourself, gives us a little testimony, and of course, with your experience in the courtroom as well, both sides of it. So that's golden. So, if you could share one message with our listeners today about either practicing law in Louisiana or Lafayette, or about the Mardi Gras Association, our culture, like we talked about a little bit before, our history, is there a message you'd like to get out to people?
Well, to the people that don't participate in Mardi Gras, it's awesome. It's an awesome experience. I grew up in a Voiles parish. We didn't celebrate Mardi Gras. And I've come to enjoy it immensely. My family has, and my wife's from Texas. She has come to enjoy it immensely. My kids enjoy it. My daughter's coming down for Mardi Gras this year, and she and I are going to walk across the stage. She can't wait.
Oh.
It's a wonderful, and you don't have to go to the balls and stuff. Going to the parade and seeing all of that is an awesome experience. Don't miss it.
It is. And it gives you a great example of classic Louisiana, most importantly Lafayette, the happiest place
Yes.
on earth. Come and visit.
And if you get an opportunity to go to Church Point and do the Courrier de Mardi Gras, go see it.
Yes, such an experience.
It's the only place in the United States that you'll see that.
Yes, so unique to our area. Is there a Mardi Gras tradition that you and your family do every year? Is there a certain parade, or I guess you're working the whole time?
I'm working a lot. We do after Mardi Gras. I hate to say Mardi Gras Day, but after Mardi Gras, we'll go to Lafonda's and relax because I'm usually bone tired.
You're done.
And we'll have a few half and halves and then go home.
Right. Well, that's a good way to end Mardi Gras Day, that's for sure.
Yes.
So that was my next question. How do you unwind? But it sounds like it is definitely at LaFonda's with a half and half. Do you have you visited a chiropractor after Dr. Bob has passed away?
No.
Okay. Well, you're looking at your next one.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Yeah, I can be bossy too.
Okay. I'm married. I'm used to it.
My last question is usually, how do you maintain your posture while pursuing your purpose in life?
I have been fighting all my life. And whether it's in court or, or what, I don't give up. I try to remain and maintain the tenacity because I just don't like to give in. I don't like to give up. And so I guess that's how I maintain.
Yes, you're very
my
driven.
posture. Yes, I want to think I am.
Yes, don't take
Yeah.
no for an answer, right?
No.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here, sharing it with us, your Mardi Gras experience, but also your experience with chiropractic. It was very heartwarming, and I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Carr. I appreciate being here.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. So, laissez les bon temps rouler. Sit up straight, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay adjusted.
Thanks for listening to the Posture and Purpose podcast with Dr. Michelle Carr-Frank. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Until next time.